Welcome to episode 106 of Brushes of Being. Today I have a very special guest. She worked in the elite art market, specialized in impressionist and modern masterpieces for collectors, auction houses, and galleries. She then decided things needed to change, and she stepped away to, as she says, get rid of the box. And so she created Icono TV to bring art to the people and to turn art into medicine. Welcome, Elizabeth. I'm so honored to have you as my guest.
The honor is mine. Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're very welcome. So I start with a quote. And let's just say it. A love of nature is a consolation against failure. Do you know who said this?
My God, no. But it could be an impressionist painter. Claude
It was
Monet? No,
not Monet. It was Berthe Morisot.
Alberto Morisot, yeah.
Yeah. The
I
very...
was not too wrong.
Excuse me?
I was not too wrong. It's an impressionist artist.
Yeah. Definitely. And that's why I asked you, can you relate to it? Yes, you can, because you're specialized in Impressionism. So you have quite a background. That must have been a huge change from the box to leave the box behind. What drove you to get art available to as many places as possible?
But listen, I come from a family of professional musicians. And I saw their struggles. But I saw also the advantages that musicians have on artists. And they have quite a significant one. And it's thanks to tech. And it starts with radio. Because thanks to radio, we wouldn't have any music experience if we were not going to a concert hall.
Yeah.
And concert halls, at least until recently, it was only for the elite.
Yeah.
You even had to be, coming with your tuxedos and long dresses and jewelry. It was not for everybody. Today, it's still a little bit intimidating to go in a concert hall. Yes, you have people going with jeans, but you still want to dress up. It's still a very special moment. And I started to compare both industries and realized that art is still in its concert hall, so to say. It's still only in the museum. So yes, it is the top experience. Yes, nothing can surpass, the real experience. On top, you have in museums and like concert halls, you have this social, experience. So it's very, very special. But we don't go to concerts or museums every day. What the music industry did also is that then they've been having a business being built on it, which were the record labels. And the record labels did authorize us, you and me, to buy music, to have it at home. And it was totally democratized in the sense that it was cheap and it was the same price, whether you were buying a very famous artist or not, all the same. And it was, so to say, unlimited. It was really kind of more on demand, business model. And fast forward today, we have Spotify. And Spotify is a mix of both. It's a mix of radio and it's a mix of, the business of record labels. So when internet came on board in the 90s, the music industry had a big problem. And it had a bit the same problem we are facing today with AI and the visual artist. They did steal the music. And there's been a big problem. And they were having these platforms like Napster and Co, distributing peer-to-peer music. And they had to find a solution. And they found it. So yes, all these things take time, but everybody in the music industry found a kind of consensus. Yes, you could tell me it's not yet perfect, because artists are very badly rewarded.
Yeah.
It's always the artist at the end of the day paying, the invoice, so to say. But nevertheless, it's so to say working. And it's working hand in hand. And Spotify, what do? They even sell you now the ticket to the concert. So the circle is completely, closed and framed and works hand in hand. So now you try to compare that with the art industry. We're not there, basically. We're still
No.
in, the museum. You could tell me, yes, there are galleries, but who goes to a gallery? There are people like you and me, but not the general public, because galleries are also intimidating. The people working in galleries are very good at making you feel stupid when you go inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the time I was buying very expensive works of art, that was always funny to look at these young people looking at me thinking that I couldn't afford, and then I was coming out with a very expensive painting, of course, for a client of mine, but nevertheless. But I did also buy things for myself, and the galleries can be very intimidating.
Yeah.
But at the end, the business model of a gallery is, selling one painting for one person. So basically, we're there. It stops there. And I wanted to just copy the music industry. So I started already 15 years ago by broadcasting video art, whatever it was, contemporary video art, or All Masters, which were our own production, on satellite. I did a TV channel, exactly like we do radio. And I broadcast through satellites in Europe and in the Middle East. And it was quite funny because people, of course, discovered us by just zapping around. In the Middle East, we were after BBC. So basically, everybody in the Middle East have seen us at some stage.
Yeah.
And then after, 8, 9 years, I stopped because it cost also a fortune.
Mhm.
And I dived into another technology, which was the streaming platforms and streaming online. Streaming online was, until 2016, it was, not really working well. To watch a film on YouTube or whatever, it was
Mhm.
crushing all the time. Today, it's completely, normal. But
Yeah.
we forget that at the beginning, it was not easy to watch a film.
Mm.
So it's only, yeah, 2015, 16 that things started to be easier and possible. And this is the moment also where the tech for smart TV started. And I dived into developing an app for every single screen, whether it's a small screen that you have in your pocket or the screen that you have in your living room. And this is how we are distributed today. I
It's
hope it.
very, very fascinating. I went online, I scrolled through, and yeah, I had like, if music can be streamlined and films, then art could be too. That's true. And at the same time, you are so right. There's nothing more healing and more. And they tested this also, by the way, in The Hague, in a museum, um, to see the actual painting. And that's why still, if there is a major exhibition, people flock to it. The tickets are already sold before
Yeah,
they
but it
were
comes
even
back to,
available.
you're totally right, but it comes back, you're living in the Netherlands, with the Rijksmuseum, they've been
Mhm.
very, they were the first one in the world to digitize all their collection and to
Yeah,
make it available. And other museums were saying, my God, what are they doing?
yeah,
If I'm not mistaken, after the first year of the Rijksstudio, I think they doubled the number of visitors, something like this, but it was a huge difference. It was
yeah.
really It was not killing it at all. It did exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is the fear where most museums are still, unfortunately. They still think that digital is going to kill the visitors. They will not come anymore.
I don't think
Not.
so. I don't think that for me as an art historian, I love to dig through their archive and look at things when I need it for my podcast or for a course or whatever. And what I like is that I can also look at the picture because I can enlarge it. So you can really see how, for instance, Rembrandt was almost an expressionist painter. The way he was he was like really putting paint on the canvas. And you see the colors he used in his shadows, etc. And that is, I think it's a very good way of teaching and learning. And then you have to go. Because that is the experience. You need to feel and see the experience. Because what I also noticed, and that is a downside of, so my partner, who passed away last year, he saw a painting by an impressionist. God, forgot his name. But it was his idea, because he saw it online, was that it was huge. And then he came in a museum and was like this big, only this big. And so that is, yeah, that is something that people don't. And then I hear sometimes that people see it. There's such high quality photos taken that they come in the museum and think, but I like the photo better. That's more nice. So there is a little bit of friction there, which I can imagine.
You will have these frictions, they will always exist. You can't avoid them, and it's not a big drama.
No. Well, anyway, and it doesn't matter. Your platform shows several topics, from video art to modern and slow art.
So slow art is our own production. This is what we did in-house.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't want to have a platform with only contemporary art. Because every artist did copy all masters, and they've been influenced by all masters.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to also give to the people an all master experience. Funny enough, when you show a contemporary painting and an all master to somebody who has no experience at all, they will tend to go to the all master by saying there is more craftsmanship, and they will respect that painting more than the other one. The other one, for contemporary art, for most case, we need an education. We need to understand the context, where the artist is coming from and everything, and then you can dive into it. And you don't look at it like an object to necessarily dive into it, like you would dive into an impressionist painting, for example. But it's a painting, art today tend to be more intellectualized, conceptualized, and everything. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just another way of approach.
Yeah, but it's also in a way exclusive. And a lot of
because of the education. Because if you don't have the education, you don't understand what is all this about. But it's like everything. Everything is like this. It's not only art.
That is true, but also people who, and I heard this from a friend. He said, I always have a difficulty talking with artists because I feel so stupid. It's kind of what you said about gallery owners who can make you feel stupid, but you're not stupid. You're entitled to ask. You're entitled to ask. And if the artist is not there, then the gallery owner needs to be able to tell you what is the story behind the portrait or behind the painting, isn't it?
So this is the reason why I did slow art silent. Our slow art films, there is nobody talking. So nobody is making you feel stupid.
That is great. Yeah.
And the reason why I decided to do this was because I read a lot of reports at the very beginning
Mhm.
about art or culture in general on TV stations. And in Europe, at least, there is this kind of law which says that you have, the directors of TV stations, public TV stations, have this obligation to put a certain amount of culture into their program. But they don't have the obligation to, broadcast it at a specific time.
No.
So they would broadcast it in the middle of the night
Mhm.
because they decided that it doesn't interest anybody.
Yeah.
Imagine if we would have broadcast these shows, at 8 p.m. I'm not saying everybody would have watched, but more people would have watched. And they
Definitely.
would have get used to it and, put
Yeah.
themselves into it.
Yeah.
And this would
Yeah.
have taken part, that would have fulfilled the job, at my opinion, of a public TV station, which is to educate the people.
Yeah.
But now we're not even there anymore. We have
No.
public TV stations which are not fulfilling their job, their first job, which is to educate the people.
Yeah.
Because that was fantastic. This was the purpose of TV. Today, every TV station is obsessed by, a business model. They even add publicity, they were not supposed, because we pay these TVs with a tax that we all pay every year, for the copyrights and all these things that every single European pay.
Mhm.
They're not the same in every country, but nevertheless, we pay to have this public TV station. So now they're having publicity, and they want to compete with big private companies like Netflix and all. So they
Yeah.
come up with, the big drama or the big TV series and things like this, and culture is being put aside. And that's the big problem.
Yeah.
So when I read all these, I wanted to be sure that, in a way, without knowing, I was hoping to do what a public TV station should be doing by giving something to the people, not making them feel stupid,
Mm.
and just experiencing the beauty of a work of art. Because
Yeah.
every single artist, there's not one artist who sell his or her painting with an instruction guide. You just sell your painting hoping that the viewer is just going to dive into it and admire it and have all the feelings and the emotions that you've been trying to communicate. And he or she would probably have other emotions and other metaphors when they are looking at your painting.
And
In that
that's perfectly
great,
fine.
but it's not fine, it's an obligation for me.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
purpose of art,
Yeah.
to trigger to the viewer something, and it shouldn't necessarily be what you were hoping to get out of the
No.
viewer.
No.
But
No.
that's the freedom, and this is where there is a kind of democratization of art, that you can't oblige somebody to think something about whatever, if they had another feeling. And this is for me the beauty.
That is the beauty. And I feel strongly as an artist myself. Of course, I have my intention, and I also have my reason why I do what I do. But every painting has its own story, but it's my story. That
Absolutely.
doesn't mean that other people who buy my work or who commission me for portrait need to have my story. No, but I need to have a, I need to create the possibility for them to create their own stories and their own thoughts. And you say I do it silently, and the beauty of that is the energy. And I had this experience in my house because I have a lot of my paintings here, even if I can't hang them, they're just standing there, because I love that. And I had someone here, and overnight, the whole energy shifted in that person. The energy shifted. And I had like, wow. That's the power of art.
Mhm.
You don't have to say anything.
Yeah,
If they
but the thing
ask you,
that
that's a different thing. But just the energy shift. And it was like I was amazed by I had like, wow, I never experienced it that way so deeply.
but look at take one example. You take Mona Lisa. This most it's probably the most important, well-known painting. It's not even
Yeah,
necessarily the most well-known, but the most important, but the most well-known.
yeah,
Um, Everybody saw it and knows it by heart on different forms, not the real form, but through postcards, through magazines, through digital, through comics, playing with her face, through Duchamp, doing
mm,
LHO Q, and so it's we saw Mona Lisa on different forms, and nevertheless, you have almost 10 million people who go and see her every
yeah,
year at the
yeah,
Louvre
yeah, yeah,
because they want to face the real thing.
yeah,
So yes, you could argue saying, are they really seeing the real thing? Because they all come with their phones and they're taking a
yeah,
photo, a selfie, I
yeah,
was next to it and everything. But nevertheless, they saw her. The most funny part is that you ask them what is in the room. They have no idea.
no,
And you have huge paintings and very famous paintings that you and we know, like the Veronese Cana wedding or, whatever. Nobody saw it. And they have no idea. Why? Because they never saw it on a
yeah,
postcard.
yeah. And they were
So
so
we
focused
need,
on that one thing also.
no, the only thing they know.
Yeah,
It has nothing to do with art necessarily. It's the fact that I'm sure you remember as a kid when we were at school and then suddenly the teacher saying, okay, in 2 weeks you bring me back an expose on that topic. And you say, my God, what the hell is that topic? Where am I going to find information about that topic? And then you dive into it. You go in the library and everything, and suddenly you see tons of books.
yeah,
But because it was unknown to you, you thought it was unknown to all,
yeah,
and you did not focus on it.
yeah,
As soon you focus on it, you see it.
yeah.
And you see
It's
it
a, it's
everywhere.
a, it's a, it's really a very interesting concept because it is something in our neurology. For instance, something stupid. You focus on a specific car that you want,
Yeah,
and suddenly you see the damn thing everywhere.
absolutely. No, no, it's
So that
absolutely
is
the case.
so. How have you brought then that concept into Icono TV?
But because I wanted to bring an all master, experience to the people,
Mm-hmm.
and that I knew they don't know how to look, that I have to basically, in a way, train their eyes
Yeah.
to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And to train the eyes and look at a work of art, we need time. So we needed to slow down everything. And as I didn't want to talk, because we happen to have two brains, we
Yeah.
have the intellectual one and the emotional one. And I wanted to trigger only the emotional one and not make because I didn't want to make the people feel stupid.
Yeah.
So by doing this, it meant I have to slow down. I have a team of art historians who know about the painting, but instead of talking, they're in fact talking to the filmmaker, and the filmmaker then translate that as a visual experience.
Mm.
And so when none of the films we produce are alike, not two are alike. They're
Mm.
all related to the story that the art historian is trying to tell us. So yes, I could ask another art historian and we would have another film.
Yeah.
And yes, it is, so to say, subjective what we're giving you,
Of
but it's
course.
one
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
It's exactly like you have, I think there is over 2,000 books about Picasso.
Of course. Yeah.
And you still have people publishing books about Picasso. You could say,
Yeah.
my God, didn't we
Yeah.
say everything about Picasso? Yeah, probably we said everything about Picasso, but we didn't say it in the same way
Yeah.
and by from the same angle and everything, and you see it from a different perspective. And it's exactly what we're doing with our slow films.
Yeah. Amazing.
So yes, the second side, the kind of side effect to that happened, that was not intentional, I have to be honest, was that we discovered that it makes something on the people. That
Hmm.
on top of giving them beauty and making them dive into the story, making them feel something, making them, trigger memories or, whatever, because a lot of people come up with memories from their childhood saying, oh, it looks like the house and the lands in the countryside of my grandmother. They can come up with whatever they want or a dream they had. So that was very nice to see that on top we were lowering their cortisol level and we put their brain in alpha state, which is the state you are when you meditate.
Yeah.
So
And do you
that's it.
think it will also then spark their own imagination
Yes,
in a
it
good
does.
way,
It
I mean,
does. This
so
is
that they,
part of
yeah,
it's part of the purpose of my Instagram account, which has nothing to do with my LinkedIn, because I think you
okay,
you saw my LinkedIn, which is
yeah, yeah,
more scientific, so to say.
mm-hmm,
It comes with the knowledge that we
mm-hmm,
have now, thanks to the WHO and the Jamil Art and Health Lab. We have all these reports done by different institutions about the effect of the arts on us. Because yes, for years we knew the impact of music. We knew the impact of what we call art therapy. When you do art, we saw it during the pandemic, all these coloring books which were sold like pancakes because it was de-stressing people just to color,
yeah,
in the book like kids. So we knew art therapy, we knew the impact of music. We didn't pay attention about the impact of just looking at a work of art,
mm-hmm,
which is at the end of the day the same.
yeah.
That's the beauty of it, is that we
But
didn't.
that's so important because what you said in the world is an awareness that is so lacked on every level. Um, Art is still pushed to the sides of
Yeah,
society
that's
as
another.
useless,
It's
and that
an
is and it's not, and it needs to be brought back also, because that's my next question. You put them in museums, but also in European cities, in hospitals, so it's healing. And so I came to the name because icono. I had like, yeah, that's icon. That's religious, related to
it's my
religious
first job.
painting.
It was my first job.
Oh, okay.
I I
Yeah.
I was not doing icons, I was restoring icons.
Oh, wow.
So I have a relationship with icons that I love, and I
Yeah.
loved icons because they were using original pigment that nobody does today.
Some do.
Tempera. Huh?
I want to go. I know people who do, and I want to go
Yeah,
back
but
to it.
you agree
Yeah.
that there's very
But you have
little.
to,
Yeah.
that's very
Very-
little.
But it,
Yeah.
it's but it's also part of the process. This just,
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
breaking
That's how the
down the
masters became
stone.
masters.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They know exactly their materials and how
Yeah,
to
but
use it.
look at the history after having painting, what we call tempera painting, and things like this in the
Hmm.
Middle Age, and then Van Eyck came up with, at the time of Van Eyck, we came up with oil painting, and when we
Yeah.
said, oh, it's the death of painting, so
Yeah. Yeah.
then acrylic came, and we said, oh my God, we're killing everything, and then, you come up photo, and today we can even say about AI, it's ridiculous. It's part of the evolution, and not everybody does it anyhow. So it's just the way we are, and there is space for everything.
Yeah.
But
Let's hope so.
icono, yes, it comes from the Greek word. It means image.
Yeah.
Um, um, I just for you to know, all the other icono, they exist since between 1 and 4 years.
Hmm.
I deposited the name 20 years ago,
Wow. Okay.
so that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also, by the way, related to company that creates immersive art focused experiences.
It's not really art. It's more kind of an atmosphere that they are creating.
Ah, okay.
It's
Yeah,
immersive. Yes, you
Yeah.
have other companies doing these big Van Gogh or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. It is as if you,
Doesn't talk to me, but
no,
I
no,
respect that. It works very well. People like being there. They make more money than a museum, funny enough, when you look at the stats.
yeah,
But again, there is space for everything.
yeah. Yeah, to me that the whole immersive thing that you are have to step into it is the hyper we are in the world. So a painting like that of Van Gogh is not enough anymore. We need to make it so big that we can step into it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but
it relates also
it's
to music. There was this time that the A was for 38, and then it starts to, because everything needs to be louder, it becomes higher.
Mhm.
So the A is now 440, 445. The sound gets like silverly kind of thing in it. Where does it end? But yeah, it's
That's part of the experiences. We need that. That's part of humankind. We need to do all these experiences. Some stay, some don't, and just have to look at them
mm,
going through life like a train.
yeah. But yeah, what you said about music, the music is they stole the music. They have stolen 6 billion pieces of art also to train their AI machines and other
Yes,
people
but
who create those.
yeah, but wait, every single artist did copy another artist to train also their eye and their way of working. It's just another way. And I would claim that we are exactly what I said at the beginning. We are at the Napster time. We had this time where, yes, they did steal all this, but now things are getting, regulated, and it will be regulated. There is already moment. If I would ask an AI, make me a painting with this and this in it, but it has to look like Van Gogh, it doesn't do it.
Mm,
So because it already knows that there are some names you could not, you should not copy.
mm.
So it's starting to get regulation. So yes, today it's still a bit the jungle, but at the end of the day, there's so little people really using it, and they use it for gimmicks, for these. It's not like you who spends days and weeks and years doing
The
doing
real skill,
these
yeah,
people, it's like if I have a lot of musician friends, and of course, when AI came, they say, my God, we're going to be dead. But
yeah.
it's not true. They're not going to be dead. Because yes, you can create a music in 2 minutes with these new AI, and it's impressive, I have to say. But you do it one or two times afterwards. I don't do that all day long. I saw that it
No,
exists and,
no.
and everything. And so it will never replace. I'm very confident.
Thank you.
Or we all disappear.
Or we all
Because I,
disappear. Yeah, I have
because
heard
I
that one
think
too. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think at
That's
the end
true.
of the day, it's not AI per se which is dangerous. It's the power you give it. So when you create an agent, then you're giving to the agent a power, and then you are giving up your own powers.
Yeah.
And it's with
But that
agents that
is,
we can kill
yeah,
ourselves.
and that is on different levels kind of concerning also for children because they did
Yes.
a MIT research, I think, turns your brain into mush because you need to read books, you need to do train skills,
Yes,
train
but
your,
they're going to
you
have,
need,
when the parents will see that their kids are not making progress, that their kids are not going through their final exams because they didn't learn, they will have to revise the story. So
yeah,
yes, we are in this period of time where everybody is looking just at the surface, not at the consequence. I have kids around me. I did spend yesterday with one of my grandkids, and he uses, of course, AI like every kid. But I keep telling him, don't forget that when you will pass your bachelor degree, you will not have AI. You will be alone in front of your paper.
Yep.
So you have to go back to the library
Yeah.
and get the focus and get the
Yeah.
science and everything.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't like to hear that because we're in this,
Especially not from Gren.
yeah, but it's a transition phase.
Yeah.
It's like everything.
Yeah. Well, it is, and hear sometimes scientists, also Geoffrey Hinton, who is the godfather of AI, who is now on a quest to warn everyone. He regrets, by the way, his obsession for machine learning. A bit late, but yeah. But that's what it is, and we have to cope with it somehow, one
Yeah,
way
but
or
on
the
the
other.
other hand, we all use it also. So we're spitting on it, but we're using it also. So we are also in this kind of dichotomy.
We are. And my latest episode, I was in a discussion with myself, and I have to be honest that I use it as my art assistant, not to create anything. I do that myself, but just for the art marketing.
Hmm.
It helps me save me time that I can paint.
Absolutely. No, no, I
So
totally agree.
that's true. But I still use my brain. I still am a critical thinker. I still read books. Um,
No, but there are different ways of using AI.
yeah, oh,
If you just
that's
ask a
absolutely true. Yeah.
if you use AI by just asking a question, you're not going very far, and the question is not going very far either. The answer. As soon you use it as a ping pong partner, so to say, and that you bring in your thoughts and you say, no, I don't agree, I would like to go in this direction, or that, then it becomes cool.
That's what I do. Yeah. I am always, and I also, because I know it has so much data, way more than I can oversee, even than the books I read in my lifetime and
Hmm.
still read. Um, I try to challenge it, but I also let it challenge me.
Hmm.
And no, this is not the direction I want to go in. This is the direction. Okay, okay. And so then it helps me with my marketing.
The very
It
beginning,
saves me time.
no, no,
Yeah.
you're totally right. At the very beginning of AI, there was this kind of quote that people were repeating saying garbage in, garbage
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And it's very, very true.
Yeah, but you put the garbage in,
Yeah,
then you get garbage back.
exactly.
But when
Exactly.
you read, when you
And don't forget that AI exists because we exist. It's not the other way around. So AI is a collective memory of all of the humanity and history. And for this, it's also quite impressive.
yeah, and it will be more, by the way, because
What would be more are the tools, the agents. Not necessarily, I think, the knowledge is there. It's what you do with it and how you put different tools together, which is going to change.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Anyway, art. Art can definitely transform us. Did it transform you and how?
Oh, that's yes, of course, it did transform me, and it started by the fact that at the age of 18 months old, I lost my sight of
Oh,
my right eye completely. I was completely blind. And people thought I was just having a lazy, what we call a lazy eye,
oh yeah,
crossed
yeah,
eyes.
yeah, yeah.
And so we did put a patch on the good eye. So my first 8 years were basically bumping into walls and
Oh
acting,
gosh. Yeah.
because I was not trained as a blind person because
Mm.
I was not necessarily blind. Everybody thought that it would be temporary. And make you a long story short, I was operated and I found my sight again. And I have little plastic muscles to keep my eyes straight, so to say.
Wow. Okay.
And because I was coming also from a family of musicians, there was a moment where there was kind of friction, and I knew that I would never become a musician for tons of different reasons. So I
Hmm.
had to find my space, so to say. And I had a shock when I was about 12 years old when we went to visit Florence.
Hmm.
And I fell in love with the architecture from Brunelleschi and, of course, all the
Yeah,
frescoes you see
yeah.
in the different churches and everywhere. And the city is just magical.
Yeah.
And I borrowed the camera of my mother and was starting to take photos that nobody saw because I was looking into the details of everything. So that was my experience, so to say. It's how I started to look at art. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard a similar type of story with an artist friend from me from US. And she was 18 and she went to the Sistine Chapel and she saw Michelangelo. And she was so emotionally touched that this is, I want to be part of this legacy.
Hmm.
And then she came back in the US and she had to really do her best to find an art school or university that was still teaching this type of art because it was all at that time um, be creative and just splash something on the canvas type of thing.
Hmm.
And she really had to find it, but she did it. And I have a similar type because I'm a trained, um, classically trained musician.
Hmm.
But art was always somewhere next to me. You could find me in a museum. And I remember my father saying, you were suddenly gone. And then you were staring in front of a painting and you could stay there for hours.
Hmm.
And when I got tinnitus, I wasn't able to perform to my standard anymore. So I transformed my life and now I paint and I hear the colors. I always have music when I paint.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, it transforms. It definitely transforms. And I'm so happy that I can do that, that I can give that.
It's lovely, and it shows that we can always start at any time.
Oh, gosh, yeah, absolutely. But that is our neuroplasticity, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it doesn't
And
matter how
it's
old you are, you can change always.
on my
We
on my
here
in
is the biggest AI machine ever.
it is. It
If
is.
but only if only we recognize that.
Yeah. No,
So
but we
yeah,
do. We do.
yeah. So art as medicine on a doctor's request. Is that a goal?
It's the goal for what I call my business,
Hmm.
meaning it's going to be the way we are going to build up playlists and bring them into waiting rooms in hospitals, or airport lounges, or big waiting spaces where it can be a bit stressful.
Yeah.
And it works. So I just have to set up a team to build all this properly, but that's the aim, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So for
Because it's
example,
so, yeah,
here I'm going to in October, I'm taking part in a private, so to say, mental health week organized by a corporate. So we're going to bring our slow films there, so um, it's exactly what I want to do with these films now.
yeah. And in a larger perspective, do you believe that art, if taken really seriously, can heal the world? That we get a
Yes,
better
no, I
place?
think it doesn't. Yes, completely. I wouldn't necessarily use only the word healing. I think you should go on Medium and see. I started to write articles,
Mhm.
and I'm starting to write articles about more to inspire policymakers. because
Yeah.
what I would like to show to these policymakers that art should not be the first thing they kick out of their budget. It should be the last.
Yeah.
And it should be the last because they should stop seeing art just as a nice to have. They should start seeing art as a necessity,
Yeah.
as a tool for democracy, a
Yeah.
tool for, well-being, a tool where they make the people, feeling better. To illustrate that, I like to give some examples which were done more in northern countries than others, where you suddenly have, for example, an architectural plan saying that we're going to revisit a street and make it cleaner, repaint the buildings, make small gardens in front of the yards, and not like a garbage or whatever. And as soon you make that street look lovely, people start talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you have starting to build up a community, and all these things. So we know it works. Why our politicians are not just applying that? It's so simple.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost necessarily big money,
No,
and the impact is huge.
it's huge. Yeah.
And I think that it's not only in my last article, I call it art is infrastructure and artists are navigators. There is something that we should not forget is that most artists are good listeners and good seers, so to say. They can observe things properly and they can listen to things properly, and then they translate it. So they are the fantastic translators for us normal human beings, so to say. And if we
Yeah.
would take artists more into the boardrooms or whatever, in decision-making places and municipalities and whatever, we would be more happy. Take I love the Renaissance for one big thing is that the Medicis, yes, they were prince, yes, they did use artists for their glory, but they did use it for their glory, and it was a win-win for both because the artist then became famous thanks to that, and the artists were part of they were invited at the table of these princes to talk about everything. Da Vinci came with all, his sketches about cannons or helicopters because of these talks,
Yeah.
because he was part of the elite, so to say, and was
Yeah.
invited by the elite. And at the end of the day, the elite was telling him, go and make frescoes in the churches for the people. So it was a win-win for everybody. It was not one taking all and just leaving the rest. And this is why I like that time, which was super creative on top.
Yeah. And apart from that, it also, what you say, you get at the table and you can listen to what they have to say and you can spread your vision because we see, well, if you do that, you see more. And seeing more is actually broadening your perception.
Yeah. Do you understand better?
And so you have more possibilities. And
Mhm.
now everything, it seems to crash, narrow down. They focus on one thing and it's, yeah, wonderful,
What do you
beautiful.
mean focusing on one thing?
They focus on just being the the best group or the politician, and they have a group that they rule out, and we have this budget, and it needs to go to this. But that's the only opportunity and possibility they see. The arts are never
Yeah,
anywhere.
but this is why I think that the time we're living today is the proof that we need artists. Because this
Oh, I love that.
polarization that
Yeah,
we're witnessing in the world,
yeah,
this extreme polarization
yeah,
is a drama. And
yeah,
and it's a drama for everybody,
yeah,
for the actors themselves and for us.
yeah,
And this is exactly where artists could just, put everything together and
yeah.
and bring us to a nice consensus. And this is what I would love to be, to contribute a little bit.
That's amazing. I love that. I love what you just said.
Thank you.
So where can people find you? Because I will put that in the
Everywhere.
show notes.
Everywhere. But yes, my LinkedIn posts, which are more for people looking at the impact of the arts on our well-being for most of them.
Yeah.
So this is on LinkedIn under Markevitch. Then you find me on Instagram, which is a completely different content because it's more about motivations for
Mhm.
anybody of us who wants to create. And I'm inviting them to create nevertheless, to take whatever they find around them to create and not be stopped by they don't have the right canvas or the right paintbrush.
Mhm.
That they can be creative with a piece of paper they found or a cardboard or whatsoever. I'm very, very popular with this, I have to say, because I was not expecting that, I have to be honest. But I have wonderful comments. People are so thankful and
Yeah.
it talks to their soul for some people saying, wow, finally I can free myself. You know,
Yeah.
you really read nice comments. So I like that Instagram. It has nothing to do with my profession. It's
No.
really, I'm just giving away, some thoughts that I think that people should feel free, that people should not care about what their neighbors, friends, and family are thinking about what they're doing. Just do it because when you
Mhm.
do it, you are in a flow, you are with yourself, you're in, you're doing something good for yourself. So, and I think that if we were having more and more of people appreciating art as a viewer or as a doer, yes, we will have a better world. And as
Yeah.
I said, on Medium, some of them go on the
Medium.
LinkedIn article. I'm becoming a bit more political, so to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not all of them, but
And what
it's
is the handle of the medium?
at Markevitch.
At Markevitch.
So it's
Good.
medium.com/at Markevitch.
Okay.
The at
So Instagram, LinkedIn, and Medium.
Yeah, because there are those channels, but there are the repetition of,
Oh, okay.
so
Yeah.
these are the main ones.
Nah, fantastic. Thank you so much.
But I
I
thank you
really, really,
again.
really love this.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.
You're welcome.